Well, Rupert Murdoch may be angling to become part owner of TikTok, but he went there in a new filing in federal court in a place where he didn't really have to go in order to win his motion to dismiss after Donald Trump sued for billions of dollars in quote unquote defamation because the Wall Street Journal did proper reporting about a Donald Trump submission in a birthday book, volume 2 or volume 3 for Epstein. We knew the Wall Street Journal was going to fight back. We just didn't know they were going to fight as dirty, as quickly as they have with their new filing. I know the headline, a lot of mainstream media are like, Wall Street Journal fights back, says that their reporting is true. Yeah, that is a defense of defamation. But when you dig deeper, they went down a different road. One that I was actually proposing when Donald Trump was trying to sue E. Jean Carroll for defamation. Although that was unsuccessful. She was, of course, the sexual abuse victim of his. And I argued, how can he be defamed? How can his reputation? There are just some people whose reputation can't be defamed. That's where the Wall Street Journal went. They said that there can't be defamation, what we call defamation per quad, which means you have to prove actual damage, because this is a guy whose own perverse, narcissistic, misogynistic, anti-woman, disgusting, depraved reputation precedes him. You can't defame a guy like that. So even if it weren't true, we got to fall back. He can't sue for defamation. And then they went one better. They attached and want the court to take judicial notice of statements that Donald Trump has made and never refuted about himself. Disgusting, depraved comments, including about his daughter, Ivanka, and other women. And of course, we're back to the Access Hollywood recording in which he said he could grab a woman by her genitalia and get away with it because he was a celebrity. That's the gift that keeps on giving. You're here on Legal AF, the YouTube channel. You want to become a card-carrying member of Legal AF? Take a moment, hit the subscribe button here. We're going to get to 1 million subscribers if it kills me before the new year. And then also come over to Legal AF, the Substack. Become a paid member there. That's how you become a card-carrying member of Legal AF. All right, let's get to the filing. I know some of the lawyers here. In fact, I just reached out to Andy Levander, who's with Deckert, and who's a friend of mine, somebody that I've actually hired for cases, and asked him, he's now representing the Wall Street Journal, if he wants to come on and brief the audience. George Lemieux, great lawyer, does a lot of Democratic cause things at Gunster Yoakley. Shout out to the lawyers. Now let's get to the filing. Here's how they end their motion. And then I'll go back and tell you all the disgusting things that Donald Trump said. And they say, therefore, he can't sue us for defamation under any circumstances. But here's how they conclude. This case calls out for dismissal in an affront to the First Amendment. The President of the United States brought this lawsuit to silence a newspaper for publishing speech that was subsequently proven true by documents released by Congress to the American public. Because they published the article, and then a month ago or so later, Congress and the House Oversight Committee, run by the Republicans, got a copy of the birthday book album of Epstein, buried in volume 2 on the second page, a submission by Donald Trump. They already published it. We published it. You can go on Filings AF here on the Legal AF Substack, and you'll find it. They said, well, we just reported truthfully about the existence of the book. But it goes on. But it is by its very nature, this meritless lawsuit threatens to chill the speech of those who dare to publish content the president does not like. This lawsuit should not be permitted to proceed because forcing publishers to defend inappropriate suits through expensive discovery proceedings would constrict the breathing space the First Amendment allows, seeking sanctions and costs. Now, on page 14 of their motion, which was my favorite part, that the article is consistent with plaintiff's reputation section. We can't defame the guy. He's disgusting, is really how I would summarize that. This is what they say on page 12. Plaintiff cannot state a defamation claim based on an allegation that he sent a bawdy birthday letter to his former friend long before the article was published. A plaintiff was publicly known to be friendly with Epstein and admitted to instances of using bawdy language when discussing women. Plaintiff thus cannot allege that the article damaged his reputation. You know what I mean? Such as it is. A plaintiff may not pursue a defamation claim where no further harm would have occurred to his reputation by the challenge statements. They also cite the Lenny Dykstra case from 2020 back in New York. A litany of stories concerning Dykstra, the baseball player's poor and mean-spirited behavior, preclude the challenge statements from inducing an evil opinion of Dykstra in the minds of right-thinking people, because the evil opinion has long existed. Here's what they say. I'm going to read to you from the statements. On page 14, in a plaintiff cannot allege harm. In the 2016 election, there was widespread coverage of a 2005 Access Hollywood recording in which plaintiff described how he approaches women. I don't even wait. When you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the child alert here. I'm about to read from the filing and the word. You can grab them by the pussy. You can do anything. He then, in campaign statements, which were widely reported, Trump admitted to making the statements. I said it, but dismissed it as locker room talk. And then, of course, Donald Trump's gone on Howard Stern. He's gone on The View, even though he's attacking The View. And here's the statements dating back into the 90s and 2000s on these places. Plaintiff gave an interview with Esquire in which he stated, it really doesn't matter what the media writes as long as you've got a young and beautiful piece of ass. In 2006, in the Larry King live show, plaintiff referred to actress Angelina Jolie as having been with so many guys, she makes me look like a baby. Any allegation that President Trump wrote a bawdy birthday note is thus inconsistent with his public reputation for using locker room talk. Then you go to the exhibits, and my favorite one is from Politico back in 2015, written by Michael Cruz, attached as Exhibit 10 to this motion. Now, I'll tell you that the entire motion and all of its exhibits are up on our Legal AF Substack for you to read for yourself. And if you go, when you read under the article's heading, the 199 most Donald Trump things Donald Trump has ever said, I guess it was supposed to be funny, but let me just read you from some of them that the Murdochs want the court to take judicial notice of and recognize. Number 23, oftentimes when I was sleeping with one of the top women in the world, I would say to myself, thinking about me as a boy from Queens, can you believe what I'm getting? 24, I've never had trouble in bed. 25, I have many women that work for me. 26, 27, all of the women on The Apprentice flirted with me, consciously or unconsciously. That's to be expected. 29, when a man leaves a woman, especially when it was perceived that he has left for a piece of ass, a good one, there are 50% of the population who will love the woman who was left. Here comes Ivanka. You know who's one of the great beauties of the world, according to everybody, and I helped create her. Ivanka, my daughter, Ivanka. She's 6 foot tall. She's got the best body. She made a lot of money as a model, a tremendous amount. The Howard Stern Show, 2003. Every guy in the country wants to go out with my daughter. New York Magazine, 2004. She does have a very nice figure. I've said if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. The View, 2006. But it gets more disgusting if that's possible. 33 of the top 199 most disgusting things Donald Trump has ever said. I've known Paris Hilton from the time she's 12. This takes on a whole new meaning with the Epstein scandal, does it not? Her parents are friends of mine, and who knows, the first time I saw her, she walked into the room and I said, who the hell is that? Well, at 12, I wasn't interested. I've never been into that. They are always sort of stuck around 25 category. The Howard Stern Show, 2003. Number 34, there's nothing I love more than women, but they're really a lot different than portrayed. They're far worse than men, far more aggressive. 35, if Hillary Clinton can't satisfy her husband, what makes her think she can satisfy America? 36, about women, you can treat them like shit. A reputation that cannot be defamed. That is the basis of the motion to dismiss by Murdoch. Now, there's a back door to settle this case. You may recall, as I end this hot take, that Donald Trump wanted to take Rupert Murdoch's deposition immediately, which opens the door to him giving a deposition as well. He can't say, well, I'm the president, I won't give a deposition. Then you can't maintain a plaintiff's lawsuit. So he's going to have to give a deposition, which is totally stupid. But I noticed there was like no activity for a while in the case, like for a long period of time. Then all of a sudden, last night, we get the motion to dismiss. The depositions and discovery, which is exchange of documents and information, that will be held off until this motion to dismiss gets resolved, which is not going to happen until 2 more briefs are filed. So my gut with the holidays and all is that it's going to be like before Thanksgiving, just after Thanksgiving oral argument, certainly before Christmas, and then a ruling. From there, discovery would start. But there's also reporting that Donald Trump is considering allowing, because he's in charge of this TikTok transaction, allowing Rupert Murdoch to be part of the buying group. So that got me to thinking, is that the way this is going to get settled? See, I don't think the Wall Street Journal is going to bow down and bend over like CBS and Paramount, or like ABC with Jimmy Kimmel and George Stephanopoulos, because right now, they don't need a FCC, Federal Communications approval from Donald Trump's communications chairman, Brendan Carr. Maybe in the future, Fox will, but they don't now. And so they've gone after Donald Trump pretty viciously here in the filing. But you could see the settlement, right? It gets settled. They pay some money. It doesn't go to Donald Trump directly. It goes to the Chinese for TikTok. And then Murdoch gets TikTok in the buying consortium with Larry Ellison of Oracle. And this case goes away, right? So is this case Rupert Murdoch's efforts to be in the TikTok buying consortium so that the quid pro quo is this case gets dismissed against Rupert Murdoch, right? And he then gets led into the buying group, back into Donald Trump's good graces, and any kind of money that gets paid from Murdoch won't go to Trump, but it'll go to the TikTok purchase. So everybody saves face. Keep an eye on that. I'm going to. You're here on the Midas Touch Network and on Legal AF. Until my next report, take a minute, hit the free subscribe button. Come on over to Legal AF, the Substack. Do the exact same thing. Now you're a card-carrying member of Legal AF. Until my next report, I'm Michael Popak. Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.